Live from Dolphins Soccer Park on the campus of the College of Staten Island, CSI Sportsnet is proud to welcome you into NCAA Division II men's soccer coverage, streaming exclusively on Flow College. In the second game of today's CSI soccer doubleheader, the College of Staten Island Dolphins host the Chargers of Dominican University of New York. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Joe Foreman, joined on the call by Aaron Cohen and Nicholas Bavona. And Aaron, we'll start with you. Men's soccer comes in looking to bounce back from a loss to Roberts Wesleyan over the weekend as they face a Dominican University team that they have not beaten since 1985. Looking back to their last outing, what worked for the Dolphins and what can this team do to get back on track ahead of an ECC matchup with Malloy later this week?
Well, thanks for having me, Joe. It's a perfect day for some soccer, and the Dolphins are hoping to get back in the win column after a loss in their first conference game of the season against Roberts Wesleyan. It was a 2-1 scoreline and a statistically close matchup, but 2 goals in quick succession from the Redhawks' Archie Murphy were too much for the Dolphins to overcome. They kept their opponents scoreless in the second half, and William Lopez brought them close in the 76th minute, but in the end, it wasn't enough. It was a hard-fought game, and CSI was right there with a chance, but they just could not make the big plays at the pivotal moments. That's what I want to see today. I want to see some moments of quality in big spots. And if the Dolphins can make that happen, then they'll come away with a win today against Dominican University, New York.
And Nick, in a bit of unique scheduling, women's soccer faced Malloy earlier today, while the men will wait to face the Lions on Saturday. That leaves them with today's non-conference match to try and figure some things out ahead of a big ECC matchup this weekend. How have they fared against Dominican University in the past, and what has this matchup looked like?
Well, as you mentioned, Joe, going into their first matchup that was in 1985, that was the last win for the Dolphins had. That was a 3-0 victory for the Dolphins in that game. In 2021, they lost 3-1 in that game, and last season was that 2-1 matchup between these two teams. In that 2021 matchup, they were outshot 18-4, and they never led in that game. And as we looked at last season's matchup, 40 shots combined between the two teams, including 16 on net. CSI led early in that game behind a Pearson LaRose goal, but then they surrendered 2 goals in the final 13 minutes, and the first coming on a penalty kick. So the Dolphins had a chance in that game to win and come out on top with the victory, but unfortunately things got away from them just late, and they fell on that game against the Chargers.
This men's soccer team comes in 1-3-1, but Aaron, it sure feels like they could easily have 3 or even maybe 4 wins. The numbers for CSI and their opposition are incredibly similar. So what has been the difference between 1 win and perhaps 2, maybe 3 for this men's soccer squad?
Honestly, Joe, it's as simple as putting the ball in the back of the net, finishing your opportunities when you have them. CSI has allowed 1.6 goals per game this year on the defensive end, which isn't the best, but it's certainly far from the worst as well. They've only scored 5 goals in 5 games. They've been able to create shots. They've averaged just over 12 shots per game, but that doesn't mean as much if you're not showing up on the score sheet. In addition, only 11 corner kicks also points to some difficulties going forwards, but beyond the stats, there are moments, like a giveaway in front of the goal against American International, a goal that was ruled out in that same game. Chances in front of goal, both against St. Anselm and Roberts Wesleyan. The moments are around, they're there, but they just need somebody to step up and really take the game by the scruff of the neck, Joe. I'm looking forward to seeing who will take center stage today.
Dolphins will look for their first win in 40 years against Dominican University of New York coming up next here on Flow College. When we come back, we take a look at Saturday's matchup against Roberts Wesleyan and a look back at last season's meeting with the Chargers. Our pregame coverage continues after a quick 60-second break. And we are back here on CSI Sportsnet. Joe Foreman alongside Aaron Cohen and Nicholas Bavona on the call as the College of Staten Island men's soccer team takes on Dominican University of New York. And Aaron, we have a couple of games to look back on ahead of this one. So let's start over in Orangeburg last year as the Dolphins faced the Chargers on the road and get a look at how that one played out. And here you'll see a Dolphins free kick early in this match. Peterson LaRose setting up, and we know how dangerous he is, whether it be on the set piece or as part of an attack that has developed. This time he puts the free kick in. The Dolphins go in front 1-0, and that lead would stand for quite some time.
That's right, Joe. They took that lead into the half. Not much action after this in the opening 45, and they were hoping to keep that lead in the second, but not as fortunate for that. Here you have an opportunity on the penalty kick, and it was the leveler for Dominican, Enrique Zakello in the 78th.
Yeah, that's one that really stings. If you're the Dolphins, they concede the penalty kick, committing the foul off of a set piece, and it didn't take Dominican long to go in front with what will go down as a game-winning goal. They work the ball around the 18, and eventually they work it in the 18, or at least close to it, as they deliver what would go down as the game winner just inside of that near post. Oscar Chazelet puts it past, I believe that's Karaburin in net. Tough to tell, and if memory serves correct, he was the goaltender of record in that one. Aaron's giving me the nod, so my memory still serves me well, even in games that I have not called. But Aaron, that's a look back just about a year ago. Very quickly, let's get a look at what happened here at Dolphin Soccer Park over the weekend. It is CSI and Roberts Wesleyan, and it is the Red Hawks that go up early in this one. Again, quick passing around the 18, ends in a through ball onto the foot of Archie Murphy. He delivers the first Red Hawks goal of the match. That would not be the last time that we say his name in that game, and it didn't take us long to call his number again.
That's right. 2 goals in quick succession. Impressive finishing ability from Archie Murphy here. It's not as easy as it looks, but the placement in the bottom left corner with the little tip over the right foot of the goalkeeper just flows into the goal so well. Archie Murphy really putting Roberts Wesleyan in front all on his own there. It's good work from the visiting striker.
And the Dolphins, prior to halftime, would have a couple of really, really good chances. We'll get a look at those back-to-back as we may have to cut away for the start of this game, but there you'll see one of those chances. One more to come shortly after, and I think we will make it through our full replay package. The Dolphins get another opportunity, and I think we actually cut straight to it. But nonetheless, the Dolphins, right before halftime, had 2 really good goal-scoring chances, but we have kickoff here at Dolphin Soccer Park. So, Nick, why don't you throw us to live action? That match ended with a William Lopez Dolphins goal in the 76th minute to pull the Dolphins to within 1, the final. Roberts 2, Staten Island 1, and the Dolphins do fall to 0-1 in conference play following that defeat over the weekend. They look to bounce back against Dominican University of New York here this afternoon. For the Dolphins, this is home match number 3 on the 2025 season. And they take on a team that they have not beaten in 40 years, all the way back in 1985, the last time the Dolphins beat Dominican. That being said, just 3 meetings between these two sides. Today marks the 4th, and Aaron, following this free kick for the Chargers, you have the starting lineup for both teams.
I do. I have the lineups, and I will go through them for you right now. We'll start with the visiting Dominican University, New York, in numerical order. We have the goalkeeper. It's a junior 00, Miguel Hernandez. Then we have Brecky Egilson, number 5, a sophomore. Oscar Chazelet, a senior, number 7. Bigad Sid, number 9, a junior. We have number 18, Gaetan Maynud, number 19, Eyob McFarlane, number 20, Derek Fisher, number 22, Luan Savino, number 24, Nolan Hess, number 25, Lucas Aruca, number 26, Jermaine Joseph.
All right, we'll hold off on the Dolphins for just a moment, though I might be able to do those very quickly. If you hand me that paper in front of you, I'll take care of that.
Got time now, Joe.
I should have consulted the pronunciation guide for Dominican pregame. It was Chazelet who had the second goal last night, not whatever I said, so I apologize for that.
I honestly forgot what you said.
I did not say Chazelet, that's for sure, so I apologize for that mistake. Starting lineup for the Dolphins: in goal, Lucas Schelling. Rest of the Dolphins starters in numerical order: Torres, Arslan, Villegas, Lopez, Tawaya, Benvenuto, Atanga, Paleo, Alvarado, and Medito. So the Dolphins going with quite a few changes in that starting lineup from what we've seen already this year. Just about everybody in the lineup has seen game action already, but if I'm not mistaken, at least 3 or 4 Dolphins in that starting lineup for CSI are making their first starts for the Dolphins, and they have a chance developing quickly here as they work up the pitch into the attacking third. That ball off the foot of Villegas was intended for Alvarado. It never got to him, and the Chargers look to move back the other way quickly, slowed down just enough in the midfield.
I wanted to say, Joe, I'm really glad that we got those highlights in right before the start of the game of those chances that didn't get converted last time out, because it speaks to my point that CSI is creating opportunities. They have the attacking play to get themselves the goals necessary to win games, but they just need someone with the quality to put that ball in the back of the net. You know, pick a corner on the shot, pick out the right pass into the box. And I think it'll come with time. You know, it's still early on in the season. I think this team will really find their way sometime soon.
Well, a player who's had no problem finding the back of the net is junior transfer Wolfgang Alvarado. A couple of goals already. Has had a pair of big finishes as that one sent toward goal off the left foot of Arslan and saved. But Alvarado with a couple of goals, and another player who's had a knack for quality setups. Brian Paleo has set up a couple of goals for the Dolphins already this year with really good balls, or at least a couple of great chances. He had the assist in the American International game. I'm not sure if he officially has a second assist. Aaron, you have that in front of you. Does Paleo have 2 assists?
He does not.
He does not. So he set up another quality shot they didn't score on and set up the goal at American International that they did score on. So his facilitating has been impressive, working out of the midfield, at least with his passes. And it does appear that's where he's stationed today as well, in one of those midfield positions. So he's been a factor, and I think his performance has certainly earned him a position in this Dolphins starting lineup. This game, number 6 for the Dolphins on the year. 5th out of conference, and from this point forward, most of their remaining matches will come against the ECC.
That's right. We're getting into the conference play section of the schedule, and that always turns up the drama, Joe. We're definitely in for some interesting games in the near future.
And Joe, you mentioned about Alvarado and what he's done this season. How about, nonetheless, the last game that you and I called, the big goal that he had against Georgia Court? I almost forgot the name.
Villegas shoots high there, and that one's over the scoreboard.
Good luck trying to track that one down.
Good luck, ball runner. And I think they're short a ball behind the net, perhaps. So they'll throw one in, and ball runner earns that paycheck. Done the job one time. And I think I had 2 words when it was done. Nick?
Never again.
There you go. 1 for 3.
I got it.
Third time's the charm.
You're a Hall of Famer in baseball. 1 for 3.
I'll take that.
Tawaya had the takeaway briefly, and he drew contact and earns the Dolphins a free kick.
I was staring at an 0 for 3 day. Golden Sombrero was on the horizon, too. I kept going.
I saw the fear in your eyes as soon as Joe kicked it to you.
That was an easy one.
That was a little bit of an easier one. I just wanted to make sure.
Two words made it easy.
Yeah.
Had I stumped him again, Nick might have had 2 words for me that we couldn't repeat on air.
Or you would just told me to go home.
Go home. There you go. There's 2 words for you.
Yeah.
Hit the road, Jack. Clock has ticked down inside of 39 minutes remaining. We are still awaiting a Dolphins free kick here. Alvarado toward the top of the box onto the foot of Lopez. Shot. Travels toward that outside post off the foot of Benvenuto. Didn't quite get as much on it as he probably wanted, and the save was made easily.
That was a little set piece off the training ground right there. Trying to fashion a shot, like you said, Joe, not troubling the goalkeeper, but oftentimes those cheeky little plays don't come off, so it was nice to see that the team is clearly well drilled.
I'm impressed that he was able to find some room there. There really wasn't much space for him to put a shot through traffic, and he did. We await a Chargers throw here as they work back closer to the Dolphins bench for the throw. It's a long throw headed toward the middle of the box, headed a second time by the Dolphins, and Alvarado runs it down. He got it to Arslan. Arslan, long through ball for Alvarado, and forced to clear was Dominican.
That's an underrated play. Fantastic coverage from the center back, Nolan Hess. Covered a lot of ground to get in the way of that pass. That could have been a very dangerous attacking scenario.
Alvarado toward the far side. Believe this is the first we've seen of Velisa Tonga in a game we've covered. I do think he's played, Aaron. You have the stats in front of you for the full season. I do believe he's played maybe in one game or two. I don't know if he's played in a home match.
I'm looking for his name here.
So it is the first game action for him.
I'm not seeing his name.
Yeah, he's not there. So first game action. I knew it was the first time we've seen him. Thought perhaps he'd gotten it on the road. Dominican sends one into the CSI bench for another Dolphins throw. Well, the men's soccer team so far in 2025 has not been short on excitement, especially in the games that I've covered. The game against Roberts, as we saw, mostly was a one-goal game. We lost the last Dolphins goal in the highlight package due to a quick start. They got through those lineups quick. I think I underestimated Tyler on public address.
Tyler doing a great job here today. Of course, helped us last year on some baseball.
Are they watching us next door? Oh, the door is open, maybe?
It's possible. Yeah, it's Sam Word.
Sam Whalen on stats is certainly watching us. I didn't think we were that loud. They can hear all the things I say about them? I'm going to have to watch myself now. I don't want to mutiny. It's a free kick for Dominican here. But the game against Roberts decided by a goal. The game against Georgian Court decided by a winner with 20 seconds remaining. The game at American International saw the Dolphins. Now, Aaron, you'll remember this. I've spoken about it already, so I apologize for repeating myself. But do you remember the last time you and I covered the Dolphins against American International?
If I remember correctly, that was the game where the Dolphins had what we thought was a last-minute winner, and we celebrated for probably what was too long before we realized that the goal was ruled out.
Well, we didn't celebrate because we're impartial.
Yes, we didn't
Who's
celebrate.
we?
Aaron was celebrating, Nick. Aaron was celebrating.
I should say we got excited at the drama.
That's right. Has a chance here for Dominican, and that ball's through traffic. Second attempt on the shot. Travels wide. Do you think perhaps they overpassed there, Aaron, or is that the right play?
No, I think the original pass was the right move. He drew the goalkeeper out and squared it to his teammate who had more or less an open goal, but that shot really should have hit the target. It should be 1-0, Joe. Look at this shot. You can't miss the target here.
Well, if you look at it there, guys, the first player that he passed it towards, he overran He overran it. That was the problem.
Yeah.
It was the right decision. It was just an overran of the ball.
Yes.
Well, if he didn't overrun the ball, is his marker there with him to break it up? I thought yes.
It could have gone either way, but truly, I think CSI should count themselves lucky to still be 0-0.
Well, they should certainly count themselves lucky that the ultimate shot they did get did not find the back of the net.
Right.
We remain scoreless, but Aaron, indeed, that game against American International was the game where we thought the Dolphins had scored the winner. They did not. I don't know if you went and listened back or checked the box from that game on the road against the Yellow Jackets this year. But for the second time in as many meetings, the Dolphins had a man advantage as the result of a red card again. And this time the advantage was for over 31 minutes. They were trailing 1-0. They got even, or at least they got even eventually. We thought they had gotten even much sooner, but they called a handball on what otherwise was initially ruled a Dolphins goal. So that goal was waved off, and then they got even again later and ultimately played to a 1-1 draw.
Opportunities there, Joe. You're a man up for that long. You probably should be coming away with 3 points. It's a difficult one for the morale.
They had that advantage for a long, long time in that match. To be fair, they had plenty of chances, and it was a bit odd, and maybe you could help me with this, but on the goal that was waved off, the head official ruled it a goal. The ball had been placed at midfield. The Dolphins were celebrating. AIC was ready to kick off. And then the lines judge on the opposite side of where the goal was scored ruled handball and waved it off. That's what it appeared happened.
The linesman on the other side?
On the other side. It was the nearest lines judge to the goal because the other lines judge was a bit further up the pitch in the back.
I see.
But, yeah, he made the call, and the head official then went to his elbow for the handball, made the signal, and waved off the goal.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, I think that's how it was waved off because they were ready to kick off. And then the lines judge got the attention of the head official and waved it off and said no goal. And it was a goal that was scored on a diving header.
So where was the...
I don't know, but I could be mistaken. This is a handball signal, correct?
That's what I would think.
Yeah.
I mean...
I was baffled, and I was in the top row of the bleachers, so I had no connection to figure out what the call was, but I could tell by how hot the bench was and how they were directing their ire across the pitch that appeared to be the call of the line judge, and handball was absolutely the signal.
It's really difficult to explain something like that, especially when you don't know what the referees were saying to each other, but it's extremely rare to see a call overturned like that when you don't have review or replay or anything like that. I can't imagine what the linesman must have said to convince the center referee that he should change the call.
Yeah, it was a very unusual set of circumstances, and for the second time in as many games that the Dolphins have played against AIC, I got caught, a bit uplifted by a goal in my inflection and let down rather quickly.
Elation to devastation.
That's right.
As we said in that Georgian Core game as well.
Elation to devastation. That was a really good one.
That's pretty good, yeah.
Elation to devastation to celebration.
Personally, I enjoy your diplomatic explanations of your demeanor.
I was trying to think of another rhyming word to describe my folly, but couldn't come up with one. We had elation, devastation, celebration. Any suggestions?
I'll have to do some brainstorming.
A few more of those, and I'm headed for termination.
It was perhaps a miscommunication.
Perhaps it was. Perhaps.
There you go.
I'd say we'll stop, but I'm going to come up with another one later. Chance here for Dominican, but that ball not a good one. Cleared away by the Dolphins.
It's a nice header right there.
Villegas working up that far side. Alvarado on the run, and he's cut off. We were able to pick up that number, Aaron. I know you're trying. I couldn't.
No, I couldn't.
The front side of the jerseys make it really tough. It's hard to make out the numbers on the front side. The back side, crystal clear.
If he would just turn around.
I think it was 26.
I
think that was.
It's definitely
Jermaine
a 2.
Joseph.
I can tell you that.
It was Jermaine Joseph on the play defensively.
The red shirt freshman from Nassau, Bahamas. Caribbean.
Been there once in my life, many, many years ago, and I haven't changed. I bring my Xbox on vacation everywhere I go today. Back then in 2004, I brought the GameCube with me. Couldn't leave it behind.
And that monitor's going with it, too.
Well, back then, we didn't have monitors.
Right. Nowadays, it is.
It's incredible to think that the video output wire for the GameCube is thicker than the entire monitor I have now.
Mm-hmm.
The TVs used to be more burdensome than our whole setup.
Oh, yeah. You used to have those cables, one red ending, one white ending.
Red, white, yellow.
Uh-huh.
I still have them. I have VCRs all throughout my house,
Yes.
True story.
Don't you record games onto those?
I record our broadcasts onto DVD. That way I have a physical copy of every game.
That's right.
Not these games, but our company games. Some of these. I have many of these games, not all.
Now, this is a game the Dolphins should be looking to win. This Dominican University, New York team, despite the result from last year, they're not the most overpowering opponent. They're 1-4-1 on the year. Last year they were 2-13-1. So I think the Dolphins will be angling for a victory here, try to improve to 2-3-1.
Dolphins looking for a bounce-back season of their own as well, and I think games like this are a really good measure of where you are early in the year. As the Chargers move forward for a shot, and that was sent wide. McFarland made a really nice move to get through several Dolphins. He was all gas, no brakes on that one, Aaron. I know Nick loves that. But the shot traveled wide, and the Dolphins escape unscathed yet again. Here's another look.
Some dribblers just know how to get out of every situation, and he was surrounded by 3 defenders there. There's no way he should be finding a shot out of that, but he just knew exactly where to go. It's incredibly impressive dribbling.
I think it's very clear that Eob McFarland is going to be dangerous. The Dolphins will have to keep an eye on him.
Just got to watch the ball. Defend the ball, not the body.
Dolphins with a takeaway, and now Alvarado moving with some speed into the midfield. He was looking in the direction of Arslan, now was looking toward Villegas and plays it back. Dolphins facing a lot of pressure there as we have a whistle. Aaron, I saw the motion. You were ready for it, and I think the yellow's coming out.
It did.
Predictable from the referee after he stopped the time, but to be honest, I'm not so sure it really warranted a yellow card.
I thought you were giving us one of these. You weren't.
No, I was just signaling for a foul, honestly.
Okay.
But I guess the referee has now set the tone of what determines that caution, and players need to take note.
So what would we call Aaron, Nick?
Don't put me in the spot again. I'm hitting 250 now. What is it, Joe?
It's an aspiring official.
Aspiring official.
Ah,
yes.
yeah.
It's been a tough day for Nick.
Put me in a rough spot today.
When you have a 3-man crew as the play-by-play guy, you have to find a way to use it.
No, I know, but I'm not ready for it.
Nick, just start writing down things that
Yeah,
Joe
I'm
might
going to
tell
have
you
to at
say.
this point.
You can try me. But you know what they say, Foreman is always right. Especially when he's the director of the stream and the play-by-play guy. He's definitely right then.
Absolutely, Joe.
Aaron knows. Ball being headed around the midfield right now. Still waiting for it to hit the turf. It finally does. And it is Dominican taking it, moving ahead with some speed. It's played toward the near side, kept in. McFarland working toward the 18. Looked to cross. It was broken up and cleared, but a weak clearance there. Savino working toward the touchline, crosses, and getting up to get it was Schelling.
Nice defensive work there from Corey Arslan. Made the cross difficult and eventually collected by Schelling in goal.
We have 25 minutes to go in this first half. Still no score between the Dolphins and Chargers. Ball through the midfield once again with Dominican. Good job there with the body by Torres to shield the attacker off the ball. That was Lucas Aruca making a run. Ball corralled on the edge of the midfield by Dominican. Hess taking his time with it. Is able to find a man ahead. Maynud goes down and will stay down. Nicholas Tawaya getting a talking to from the official. Did you ever get one of those as a goalkeeper, Aaron?
Honestly, no.
That's expected. Never came out a bit too aggressively.
I was a very safe goalkeeper,
Okay.
staying on my line.
But were you effective?
When I played, yes.
Okay. I was afraid you might hesitate as Schelling grabs that out of the air. How about the hands? How are the hands?
That's well done by the goalkeeper coming out and claiming that ball. Just one more comment. I would say I was most effective on the bench. That's kind of where I made my living.
Okay. But that's like Nick and I in the faculty versus staff, faculty and staff versus students basketball game. Nick and I are most effective on the bench with headsets on, filming a podcast as the game goes on.
I at least get the satisfaction that I did score in the game last year. And I took a charging foul.
Yeah, did I score? I don't think so.
I think you got a free throw.
I did. You're right. I did get a
You got
free
a
throw.
free throw.
That might have been 2 years ago, though. Maybe I did get one.
I don't remember.
Yeah, we stink.
Yeah. It still boggles my mind how we won the first year. Like, TJ really
I was about to say.
TJ was the only reason we won that 1 year.
Well,
That's it.
Nick, I was about to say, if you get this wrong, I am going to tell you to go home. I was going to say the reason we won, 2 letters.
TJ.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Hit a buzzer beater, right?
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Buzzer beater in the student staff basketball game.
Yep. That's a buzzer-beating game winner.
It's really
It's on video.
It's
on the
really
Dolphin
big.
Pod.
If TJ shows up, we at least think to ourselves, "Hey, we have a fighting chance today." And then once the game starts, then it just unfortunately gets downhill for us.
Well, once our crew comes in, things typically go downhill. We're not
Yeah.
very good. I used to be.
I usually tell him, "Don't put me in now.
Yeah,
Just give us a little bit."
I used to be a pretty good basketball player. I was never good enough to play at the college level, at least not that I know of. But when we played pickup here at CSI during the intramural rec hours, I was pretty good. And I would play against members of the basketball team at that time and hold my own. So I was good enough at least to stay competitive in a recreational capacity. I'm not going out there, in a collegiate game and competing at all. But definitely in terms of rec, I was competitive, as getting a long way with that ball before the Dolphins finally are able to clear was the attacker McFarland, and he's proven dangerous. This is Lopez fending off a challenge from Hess.
Beautiful ball control from Lopez, especially on that first touch. He brought it down and changed directions all with one touch. He is very well placed as the architect of this attack.
He's been impressive this year. He's come up in big moments, as we know the game winner that you and I covered, Nick, against Georgian Court. Had the goal against Roberts last time out, but he's always seemed to be in the middle of the Dolphins' scoring chances. Definitely a player that Dominican will have to keep an eye on, as it looks like they are going to waive a substitution on, and right on cue, Lopez heads to the bench.
That's curious.
Sounds like Peterson LaRose has a lot of fans in the stands.
We know that LaRose, of course, guys, is a capable scorer for this Dolphins squad.
The Chargers very much know that, as they saw last year on the free kick. And another foul has been whistled against the Dolphins. They love LaRose down there, Nick.
I was trying to see if that was the women's soccer team. I think it is.
I think in part it is, for sure. Where's that kind of ovation when we enter the building? Once upon a time, I would get ovations like that. I was much younger back then, back when I was first starting. Now I'm just some gray-haired play-by-play commentator that now I'm not confused with a student.
I see what you're going for.
Yeah.
I want to hear a crowd full of cheers for Nick Pavona. That's what I want to hear.
It would be well-deserved. That being said, I'd have to silence them and ask why they're not cheering for me instead. It might be well-deserved, but sorry, Nick.
No, it's understandable. It's totally understandable.
Oh, goodness me.
Well, I was going to say, even if they don't give us cheers, we do always appreciate the parents of some of the student athletes coming up to us afterwards after every single game and saying how great of a job that we do, or just saying that, they love and enjoy all of our broadcasts. So
it was funny. I don't think you were here, Nick. It might have been the game you were here. I don't recall, but it was after one of the games. Women's soccer post-game always hosts a post-game buffet down on the side of the bleachers, and they see some random stranger coming over and helping himself to the food, that being me. And they ask, who are you? I go, I'm the play-by-play commentator. as soon as I spoke, they go, "Oh, Joe Foreman, I'm a fan." So they knew me by my voice, not my face. But back when I first got started, hard to believe, 10 years ago now, I would get confused with the student back then. Now I have a lot more gray hair. I'm not getting confused with the student anymore. Here come the Chargers again, working on the edge of the box. And they'll send it off a Dolphin.
Got a corner out of it, though.
I think that was Joseph working up there. Or perhaps not. Again, really tough to make out the numbers.
I don't believe it was Joseph.
No,
Joseph just entered the box.
It was Odemene. It was Odemene. Corner kick toward the front post and directed out by the Chargers for a Staten Island goal kick as we approach 18:30 to go in this first half.
I will say, going back to the faculty and staff games, guys, at least we have the number in football and in baseball or softball. At least we have their number in that.
Can't lose them all, right?
No.
Well, you can.
You can.
We don't.
But we
Aaron,
don't.
We don't.
Exactly. We
The
don't.
point is we don't. You know, football, I think it's a bit easier to assert our physical dominance there.
I see.
I think a lot of it, too, you know, we aren't quite as fast as the students, but we have that chemistry from all the pickup we've played together all of those years. I've thrown a lot of passes to Patty Two Camps.
I will say, for the softball game, I am looking forward to playing on the new turf field for softball this year. Otherwise, from where we were last year on the track and field playing that game.
And the Chargers wanted a foul there. That's a good no call.
No, the referee has made the call.
They did make
Oh.
it, yeah.
That's tough. It looked like an incidental contact situation to me, Aaron.
It was a borderline call, and the referee's stopping the time to talk to the linesman, but I don't think it's anything worth a card. It's definitely a play where you sometimes see a foul call.
I thought they got their feet tangled over the ball. Nick, do you have a replay of it?
I do. I was going to wait till after the kick.
Okay.
I don't know if we have. Yeah, you think we have a time right
Let's
now?
hold off, and
Yeah.
we'll get a look shortly.
I do have it, though.
Initially, it looked like they were going to play on. Head coach Donato Curci not happy.
Well, we didn't hear a whistle, Joe.
We did not. That's a good point. And that's another part of the reason I thought they were playing on.
Yeah. But referee did bring it back. And, yeah, I really would love to see a replay to see the nature of the contact. But viewing it live, I'm not entirely surprised that the referee did make a call, even if it wasn't actually contact that should lead to a foul.
Well, here we go. Free kick Chargers. Sent near post. And that is outside of the frame. So tough to tell on video, but clearly a bit wide. And, Nick, let's get a look at what drew that whistle. I think he did. I think that is a good call. I think he did catch him on the front of the thigh.
Yeah.
We'll run it back one more time, a bit more slowly, Nick. But if you watch, the leg comes up, it goes over the ball, and I think he catches him on the front of the thigh. So, Nick, run that back one more time. I'll let you know if you have to cut away. You have to cut away. Here come the Dolphins. Alvarado lost it. Great chance there for CSI, and Alvarado with a rare misplay on that ball. Here come the Chargers back in the other direction as the Dolphins send it toward the sideline.
Well, Alvarado had him on the dribble there. If he was able to complete his move, he would have found himself past the defender, which I believe was Joseph. But he just stepped on the ball as he rolled his foot over it.
Here's one more look. Watch the leg come up into the thigh. He goes over the ball with the attempted tackle, and I think he catches him on the thigh.
I think you're right.
Meanwhile, here come the Dolphins again.
Goodness gracious.
They tried to play it long up to Villegas. He couldn't get to it.
They're putting me to work right now.
If the Dolphins fans might be saying, keep running the replays because every time we get a chance.
Yeah.
Corner kick here.
The replay is the impetus for a Dolphins attack.
I like that word.
It's Clydeism. So we await a corner kick here with just shy of 16 minutes to go in what has been a pretty back and forth first half. That one headed in the air by the Chargers. Palaio waiting for it to come back down.
Look out.
I mean, that has to be a call, right?
Usually you get a foul call for knocking the legs out from under your opponent, but he
Well,
kind of jumped over him.
The opponent jumped onto his back, and Palaio stood his ground. Like, what is he supposed to do there?
No, nothing. You're exactly right, Joe. And the referee even was confused. He put his arms out.
Well,
like
the
what did
player
he do?
who tried to go over the top landed on top of him. I think that's where you have a foul.
Right.
Because it stopped Palaio from getting to the ball.
Just a strange one.
Yeah, that's tough to officiate, but I thought for sure there'd be a whistle. Either way there, I tend to favor the Dolphins in that situation. Not because I'm biased.
Are you trying to be? I was just about to say, are you being an aspiring official right now?
I'm aspiring. I think I'm aspiring as there's a bad giveaway by Dominican. Here comes Alvarado. Alvarado taking his time, shoots high. Alvarado made a bid for yet another goal on his ledger, but he sends it up above the bar, and once again, we remain scoreless.
Big opportunity for the Dolphins after a giveaway in the defense for Dominican, and he made a nice move there, Alvarado, but he slipped with the stepping foot when he went for the shot, and because he was leaning back on the slip, that ball went over the top. Unlucky moment there for the striker.
He didn't need much space, and he made the most of what he had, got that shot off, and it was a quality attempt with plenty on it. If that's on goal, that's an incredibly difficult save. Are you stopping that one on goal, Aaron?
100%.
Never doubted.
I'm not.
Yeah. We'll have to show off our lack of skills, Nick and I. We'll put Aaron in goal, and Nick and I will try and score on a penalty kick.
I'm good.
That would be a really good pregame segment. We might have to do that.
I'll do that in jeans.
Aaron's game. He's ready. We don't know if we have you again this year, Aaron, so we'll have to see.
That's true as well.
We arrive early enough, maybe we could put it together. Should there be one more game.
This, of course, will be the first of many three-man boots we'll be doing this season.
We still have to work out the technical component. Right now we're operating without an audio monitoring headset because Nick was hearing himself double. How you got through that full first game with your own voice echoing in your headset 3 seconds later, I don't know.
I could not do that.
Not a lot of things bother me at the end of the day.
That's why you're so easy to work with, and that's why you're still here. LaRose with the left foot.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Who made that noise?
I did. I did, admittedly so. My car, thankfully, nowhere near there. But, Nick, when you've seen some things like I have,
Yeah.
you cringe at the sight of a soccer ball traveling at that velocity into the parking lot. Takeaway. LaRose. Shot saved.
What a stop.
Wow. What a sequence and what a stop by Hernandez.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
I mean, incredible
I could have made
reactions.
the noise again right there. That might be another one for our feature. Yellow, red, or no card. That was a strong tackle by LaRose. Corner kick on the way. Toward the back post and headed skyward. It's loose.
Oh. Well, that's a foul.
Sure is. Aaron biased in favor of the goalkeeper, perhaps?
No.
Meanwhile, this shot, it's either goal, no goal, or car window.
Oh.
I was looking for my car out there. I was worried.
I used to say that one sent into orbit off the foot of the shot taker. I thought maybe a bit too harsh, so we removed that from the vernacular. Poor ball runner.
I do want to shout out, though, before we get too far past it, the goalkeeper, Miguel Hernandez. Incredible reaction save on that one-on-one. Truly should be a goal for CSI, but the goalkeeper stood on his head there.
Aaron not one to hold back his praise for the goalkeeper.
Gotta.
Well deserved there, but he's a bit shaken up. Maybe came down on a foot after he leaped to grab that ball.
He took a shot on that play, that's for sure.
There was a collision as well, but given that he's seated, I'm assuming that it's something to do with the leg or the foot. I'm
Clearly.
surprised Surprised nobody told me what I do when I assume, but thank you for that.
I'm glad you didn't ask me because I didn't want to go there.
That would have been the alley-oop of all alley-oops. You can't get that one wrong. The problem is when you don't say it because you can't, then I can say gotcha. 1 for 5.
That might have been whatever the opposite of a heat check is.
What is that, a thought check?
I guess so, yeah.
Something of that nature.
Yeah, cold check doesn't sound right.
Mm-mm.
And it looks like Hernandez is going to walk off under his own power. So I presume they have to put somebody else in goal here since they stopped the match for him.
Yeah, he's going to come out. Second string goalkeeper is probably going to get at least a minute or two here.
Good luck to Sam Whalen on stats. Man, they can hear us loud and clear through there.
It's our booming personality. That's why.
Yeah. I don't think anyone has ever described my personality off headset as booming, Nick. So thank you for that. Of course.
Well, I always say that when we do public address and someone can hear us on, pretty much throughout the entire campus.
Well, if they really can hear us that clearly in the other room, I think it's time for me to say a few things about the PA guy, Tyler.
Oh, no.
That Tyler guy.
He came to work in a hat.
What is he doing? Heard him issue an apology live on PA.
Yeah, Joe and I didn't hear it either, apparently.
You know what I say? Never apologize. Double down.
I'm so glad you didn't ask because I didn't know where you were going with that one either.
Oh, good Lord.
Hernandez stays in there. Now, Aaron, I posed this to Nick during one of our previous broadcasts. How similar is your personality off headset to on headset?
I would say I'm a little bit more polite and buttoned up on the broadcast as you have to be as a professional broadcaster.
Right. Yeah, not in that. How outgoing? How outgoing are you generally versus what you are on the broadcast? How much interaction are you seeking out day to day?
I'm probably more booming on the broadcast than I am in person. Probably a little bit more within myself when I'm off the broadcast.
Yeah, I'm the same way. But I was explaining to Nick, everyone tells me, to do that job, you have to be so talkative, so outgoing. I've had strangers who found out what I do say, you're so outgoing. That's how you do that. I'm like, you don't know me very well now, do you?
Yeah. I've never viewed it that way personally as a broadcaster.
Well, a broadcaster typically knows it's a job. I love it. They're paying me to be here, admittedly, but I love the work we do. Yeah. That being said, not that way at all day to day.
One of the joys of broadcasting from my perspective is that although you're talking on a broadcast to people who are listening, you are not in the presence of your listeners. You still feel very isolated in the environment.
To me, it really is the best of both worlds. I get to talk a little bit because I'm not outside of my own close circle, not super talkative. If you're not in my contacts list, I'm probably not speaking to you much. That's just the way it is. So if you're close enough to be in my contacts list, then you probably would think I'm more outgoing than I am. And generally within the circle, our crew here, tight-knit group, things are different. But beyond that, if you saw me walking, you'll have to say hello to me because I'm not going to be the first to say hello, that's for sure.
You're not initiating it.
No.
I'm right there with you on that.
Yeah. And there's a strike toward goal wide. Making a bid there was Aruka. He made a strong run earlier, and a good challenge on that run by Tawaya kept the ball off his foot. That time Aruka from a long way out sends an absolute rocket just wide of that far post.
Really nice power on that shot. Troubled the goalkeeper, even though it was not on target. If that finds the other side of the post, might have been a real issue for CSI. But the flow of this game has been really strange. At least from up here in the booth, it's been kind of slow and jagged. And then all of a sudden you get these bursts of quality. And
Nick, you want to run a replay?
Yeah, Nick, get us going here.
Yeah, I don't know.
Nick gets on that replay control, and all of a sudden, here come the Dolphins. Arslan taken down.
No call there.
That's a good, strong challenge there to dispossess Arslan by Derek Fisher.
Of course, not the good basketball coach
I
player.
knew you would be the one to go there.
You beat me to it, Nick.
Yeah.
Someone had to take advantage of that.
I'm still a bit salty about that era as a Knicks fan.
Well, yeah, we don't want to talk about that.
The Phil Jackson, Derek Fisher experiment.
Triangle offense.
Those are some tough years, but
Yeah.
admittedly, the roster wasn't exactly built for immediate success at the time.
No.
That's one way of putting it.
Yeah. What did they win, 16 games?
Ugh.
At most, yeah.
I went to 7 games that season. The Knicks won 3 of them.
That's
So you're
pretty
saying
impressive, to
So
be
you
honest.
should have went to a lot more is what you're saying.
I should have, perhaps. I think the starting lineup was Langston Galloway, Jose Calderon, Lance Thomas,
Anthony Early, maybe?
Cleanthony Early, and Lou Amundsen. That was the starting
Lou
five.
Amundsen.
Yeah.
The names coming out your mouth are unbelievable.
It's hard to believe. That was 9, 10 years ago now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, time flies.
Well, 10 years ago was that 2015 season where they were good for no reason.
Yeah,
Right?
one day you wake up and then all of your hair is gray and you wonder where the time went. As that sent toward goal and headed over everybody. First touch was by Dominican there. Really tough to make out in that vast array of jerseys who got ahead on it, but the Dolphins will throw. LaRose did a good job initially to fend off that challenge from Saveno, and once again, Dominican clears over the near side. Dolphins take the throw quickly. Arslan cross in front, and Hernandez got his hands on it. I don't think that was headed on goal, but still, from a very dangerous spot, CSI got a foot on it from in close.
It's one of those plays as a goalkeeper where you might not be entirely sure which side of the post the ball's going on, and you're not going to take that chance. And I'm really liking the athleticism I'm seeing from this goalkeeper. He's kept CSI off the score sheet. To be honest, both of these teams have had moments where they should have scored. It's very interesting that it's still 0-0 here.
This one could come down to which team has a breakthrough first, and
How about
Dolphins very nearly had one right there.
I was about to say, how about that defensive play right there? That Rose had a great touch. It was about to set up a pass.
Arslan was streaking up this near side wing wide open with plenty of room, and the pass was denied. Dolphins now pressured back into the midfield. Ball sent up the pitch by Atonga. Arslan was there, but just couldn't corral it as it rolls into the arms of Hernandez.
What a pinpoint pass that was from Atonga right onto the foot of his desired teammate. And unlucky for Arslan, if that touch just had a little bit less on it, he's completely through on goal. I like that vision from the defender.
And something I've seen from this Dolphins team throughout the early portion of this season now as we're heading, it's hard to believe, toward the end of the first month already. But this team has done a really good job with their setups out of the midfield. They've been able to take very long passes up the pitch and turn them very quickly into scoring chances, and that has all started primarily in the midfield. It's been really impressive, that last pass, an example of that. And there's Paleo, who generally has been in that conversation as well with really good setups out of that middle third of the pitch.
It can be really beneficial to your attack if you can mix up the methods like that. You know, mostly CSI has employed slow build-up to try and open up gaps in the defensive line, but if you have the quality to pick out a long pass at the right moment, it can completely catch the defense off guard.
Torres sends one toward the sideline out of play. And again, we'll have a Chargers throw in. That one volleyed in heavy traffic. How did that turn into a shot? That ball bounced into heavy traffic, and it turned into a quality scoring chance. Schelling had to punch it over. Here's one more look at it. That came seemingly out of nowhere off the throw. The Dolphins failed to clear. And then the ball comes down on the foot of a Charger. Couldn't make out who it was in the mass of bodies, but Dominican earns a corner kick inside of 4 minutes to go here in the first half. A lot of bodies right on top of Schelling in front of goal.
It's one of the hardest scenarios to face as a goalkeeper because you know that cross is coming right on top of him, and he's got to work through the bodies to get at least a fist onto it.
Here it comes, and Dolphins clear it, and not even sure they needed to.
That wasn't the delivery they were hoping for in that corner kick. They wanted it at head level. It's a very difficult set piece to defend. Foul call there on Wolfgang Alvarado. Too much contact with the arms, Joe.
Free kick for the Chargers as the clock ticks inside of 3 minutes remaining in this first half. And we said it during the women's game. If a team can strike late in the half, gives you all of the momentum and really changes the conversation at the half for your opponent.
It's these periods where you can lose your concentration.
This could be dangerous. It's headed straight up in the air, headed toward goal, volleyed, and a foul was called as Schelling was contacted.
Well, it's very clear that this referee will not tolerate any contact with the goalkeeper on the balls up high like that.
LaRose chasing after it and
What a
knocks
block.
it down with the body. And now Hernandez will get on top of it. LaRose applying the pressure, and Hernandez certainly felt the heat right there.
Well, rarely do you get a half as eventful as this one has been for Miguel Hernandez. He's made several very beautiful saves. He had that deflection. He went down injured. I mean, what hasn't happened for this goalkeeper?
He's been involved in a few precarious moments in this one. We'll put it mildly there. Had to come off injured briefly, had an incredible stop earlier, and was tested more times than just the one as that ball for Arslan lands in a pretty good spot. Can Arslan keep it in? No, he cannot. Chargers will throw here. 80 seconds to go in the half. Dominican can't afford to give it away in their own end here. They do not. And they work quickly up the pitch, but Schelling decisively moves toward the top of the 18, scoops it up, and CSI may get one final opportunity with 1 minute to go in half number one.
This would be a perfect time to get the first breakthrough. We talk about goals late in halves, and it really hurt the women's team earlier today. Perhaps it can help the men's team.
Dolphins working along the sideline, but it is Dominican awarded the throw. They'll throw it a long way into the midfield. Foot race for it, and Torres there, no problem. 30 seconds to go in the half. Schelling up to Medito. Medito plays one toward Villegas. Villegas has a lane. Villegas has help from LaRose. He's looking that way and shoots well wide.
Perhaps not the best decision. He could have passed to LaRose. He tried to use his pace to get around the defender, but the defender was equal to it.
And that will do it for half number one. No score at the break in what has been a good one between the Dolphins and the Chargers. Very evenly matched, back and forth. First 45 minutes from Dolphins Soccer Park, but with us reaching halftime, we will throw it to a break and a message from all of the great sponsors of Flow College. When we come back, the final 45 minutes, Dolphins, Chargers, right here on CSI Sportsnet, streaming exclusively on Flow College.
We've learned a lot from him, and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Give me a break it! Break it!
Can I have a hug? What's your favorite subject?
Math.
When you spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
No, I'm right. The podcast that uncovers the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Nick Durst here along with Joe Calabrese.
Here we are, 200 episodes later, about 150 episodes with guests, our friends, soon to be your friends.
Well, it's pretty clear, Joe, that it's all about You Know I'm Right, the podcast. That's my You Know I'm Right moment. Wanted to do a podcast, and everyone was like, what are you, crazy? Who's going to listen? You're not going to get guests. Well, guess what? I'm the best when it comes to getting guests. You could vouch for that.
I am so happy that you asked me to do this. I couldn't have been more thrilled. And follow us on socials, check us out. I promise you, if you want to work in media, whether you work in media now, whether you want to quit your job and work in media, come to us, and I promise you, we will get you on the right foot.
That's what it's all about, uncovering the origin stories of some of the biggest names in sports, media, and entertainment. Keep it locked on You Know I'm Right.
Hobra, a taco joint, Staten Island, where we're proud to have shared our family-first spirit with people from throughout New York City and the world. With indoor dining available both at the bar and on the floor. Or step outside for additional seating and an outdoor bar. Serving beer that's crisp, ice cold, and worthy of a day at the beach. Cocktails that explode with flavor. And great food made with the freshest and healthiest ingredients available. Events feature food and drink specials, live music, and the best of Staten Island nightlife. Your CSI Student ID saves you 10% on your dining order at Hobra. Visit us at 412 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
Kettle Black on Staten Island, a top 5 wing joint in America by Food and Wine magazine. Serving daily lunch and dinner at the bar or on the floor. Perfect for family and group parties with top shelf drink and delicious food. From great times with good friends. Live sports and watch parties. To Staten Island's hottest nightlife. The Kettle Black features live music and DJs weekly. The Kettle Black features daily and nightly food and drink specials. The best Staten Island has to offer is at the Kettle Black. We'll see you there at the Kettle Black, located on 415 Forest Avenue, Staten Island.
If you want to win in every arena of college life, go D2. Make it yours.
That's a timeout on betting. It completely changed the game, and you didn't even notice. Let me break it down for you. Betting ads are applying full court pressure and getting you to play the game. Many of you are falling for it and losing big money. Addiction is happening in some more than others. Now players are getting harassed by bettors. And we all know that's not how the game is won. So it's on us to be good teammates and draw the line to stay ahead of betting consequences.
NCAA athletes don't just compete, they make history. Representing our nation with pride and excellence, they bring home the hardware. Our college campuses serve as training grounds for the next generation of stars. Catch tomorrow's Olympians and Paralympians on the NCAA Championship stage today.
The NCAA sponsors 90 national championships each year, none of which could happen without officials. There is an urgent need for sports officials across the country, as they are retiring 4 times faster than they are coming in, leaving shortages at all levels of sport. The NCAA recognizes the importance of officiating on the student-athlete experience and is dedicated to the recruitment and retention of new officials for all sports. There are many great reasons to become an official. Stay in shape and get paid to do so. Meet new people and build relationships within a tight-knit community. Give back to the sport you love by creating a fair atmosphere and upholding the integrity of the game. Say yes to officiating. Visit ncaa.org/sayyes-to-officiating for more information on how to get started.
we've learned a lot from him, and we've probably learned more from him than he's learned from us.
I think they're a real important part in my life. I can't describe it. It feels amazing.
Team Impact is a national nonprofit that connects kids living with serious and chronic illness with college athletic teams, forming lifelong bonds and life-changing outcomes.
Give me a break it! Break it!
Can I have a hug? What's your favorite subject?
Math.
When you spread the word about Team Impact, you have the power to change lives.
Campuses nationwide, the NCAA is making transformative changes for student athletes. While they pursue their biggest dreams, we're launching new initiatives to help them. Life-changing education opportunities are just the start. The NCAA is providing enhanced mental health services. We're guaranteeing scholarships and tuition and expanding access to healthcare. Visit ncaa.org/change to learn more.
And we are back from Dolphin Soccer Park, where they got the second half started just about a minute ahead of schedule. We went from about 60 seconds to 0 up on the clock, and they put 45 more up there for the start of half number 2. No score between the Dolphins and Chargers. Joe Foreman on the call alongside Aaron Cohen and Nicholas Pavona. And Aaron, I'll start with you. It's been an entertaining back-and-forth game. You mentioned a bit of a jagged pace. Both teams have had their chances. Both goalkeepers have made some big plays, and as a result, there is still no score.
It's been a game of moments. Every team has had their moment. In fact, both teams have had multiple moments where they seem likely to score, but I think the word of the game so far is composure. Neither team has been able to have the composure in front of goals, so whoever can find it before the clock strikes 0, I think they're going to come away with the points.
I think another word that is going to be something that we talk about in the second half is capitalize. Which one of these teams is going to capitalize and get that first goal that very well could be the breakthrough goal that ends this game?
Well, we had our rhyming game going on in that first half. Elation, devastation, celebration. I think my takeaway from the first half is frustration for these two teams. A lot of chances they had in that first half came up empty. That's something that they'll be looking to change here in half number 2.
I was thinking about the wordplay as well, Joe. I was.
And you came up with nothing in all that time?
No, I did come up with something. I just haven't said it yet.
All right. Bit of a teaser.
The American International situation, the referee's determination stopped the celebration, and we never got an explanation.
Oh, Aaron.
Oh, my goodness.
Check his phone. Did he read that off his phone?
We were talking about football the entire time. I don't know where that was from.
I'm always cooking inside my brain, Nick.
Let him cook.
You stole it right from me, Joe. I was about to say it.
Let him cook. Aaron's going to come in now and doing the stirring motion.
He's going to be the new top chef.
Chef Cohen.
I'll tell you, if I cook, it'll never be raw.
Oh.
If you haven't seen it already, go check out our pregame from the last broadcast, Top Chef Dorm Edition, the best of. Exclusively on Flow College. It aired during our pregame ahead of the women's soccer matchup with Roberts Wesleyan.
If anyone's a fan of Hell's Kitchen, that is certainly a must-watch.
Well, we'll have to upload the full version to Sportsnet. I think I'll do that this week. We'll upload the full version.
Hell's Kitchen, good show.
If you're a fan of Hell's Kitchen, Aaron, you're going to love this feature. You saw a piece of it. Were you in there with us during the pregame when we aired that?
I think you saw a snippet of it.
You saw a piece?
Yeah.
All right, so what I'll do, I'll upload it to YouTube, and I'll send you the link once it's uploaded. It's really, if you're a fan of Hell's Kitchen, you'll love it. It's really funny.
I am a fan. The drama that goes on in that show is really something to behold.
Good stuff.
The show that it holds near and dear to our hearts here on CSI Sportsnet. Well, our colleagues. So many good moments that we talk about.
Let's just say there may or may not be a Photoshop of Nick, Lou, our former colleague. I think at this point it's fair to say.
At this point, it's got to be former.
And our former colleague.
Until I see him show up, it's former at this point. No offense.
And until he shows up this year.
Yes.
I'll actually see him in about 2 weeks. But our former colleague, Andrew Rotundo, myself, Nick, and Lou have a Photoshop of us in black jackets.
Oh, yeah?
I can't read what it says on the Photoshop on the air. It's a really fun Photoshop.
Keep it to yourself.
I could show Aaron, though. I can show Aaron. There's a long free kick, and it ends up in the arms of Hernandez.
I probably have to scroll a long way to find that photo.
I think it's one of the first on this phone.
I think, yeah, it should. I think it has to be from our first year.
Unfortunately, I'm on iPhone 17. I can't figure out how to get to it.
I might be able to find it. I think it's from our first year.
I was very busy in the Photoshop that first season. Here we go.
You got it?
I'd love to share it on the screen, but unfortunately, it's not PG. Don't ask what that means either, because we can't explain. This is Alvarado. Nice move to the inside. Alvarado, shot blocked. And the Dolphins will earn a corner kick early in this second half, just over 40 minutes to go in half number 2.
Frustrating moment for Alvarado. He likely wanted to curve that into the far post, but his touch was too big and he didn't have the gap in the right position. The defender, I think it was number 5, Brecky Eggleston, he closed the gap and prevented the shot from getting its way towards goal.
Quick give and go off the corner, and Alvarado's ball too high. I believe that was Medito making a run for that back post, looking for the header, but it was out of his reach, and it will be a Chargers goal kick.
I'll circle back to that defender, Eggleston. He's from Iceland. The school he went to in Iceland, I'm going to go for it. Fjolbrau to Skolen.
Sounds like you've had some experience with that before. Maybe some practice during halftime. Where was Aaron during the half?
Like I said, we were in here with Pat talking about football.
I can be in 3 places at once, guys.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm always right. He can be in 3 places at once. What's your superpower, Nick?
Not knowing what you want him to say.
Yeah, I think it's just,
superpower. Stumped.
Stumped. Yeah, honestly, that is the right word for it. That's definitely my superpower.
That's awfully sad.
Yeah, it definitely is. like we were talking about with football, I was stumped at a certain thing that happened Sunday, but we won't talk about that.
Well, that Giants game had to have been tough for you.
Not even talk about that, but that was tough too.
A different game involving a team that wears green and yellow against a team whose name is a color, but they don't wear that color.
Survivor pools are not gambling, so that's okay to talk about, as that one's headed over the top of everybody. And the Dolphins will escape just conceding a corner.
What's funny about that is it's kind of what we were saying with the celebration or the elation, celebration, devastation. There was no elation or celebration after I heard the result. It was celebration after
it was devastation.
It was celebration after seeing a wedding, then finding out devastating fashion that they lost.
Yep. You made it 1 week further than I did.
Yeah.
Corner kick upcoming here for the Chargers. Again, a lot of traffic around. Shelling, that's played toward the near post and outside the frame.
Yeah, you had a certain team that was in black and yellow, right?
Yes. So in my
Steelers.
in my free Survivor pool on the Fanatics app, which I reiterate again, that is allowed.
Yes.
But I had in week 1 the Jaguars. In week 2 I had the Steelers, and the Steelers did not win.
That Steelers defense looking quite porous.
Yeah, well, they had a lot of injuries. Looks like we have
Speaking
a turned
of
ankle in the
injuries.
midfield.
Yeah.
Dolphins had a brief moment to capitalize, but could not. Will Waters, back to his feet quickly, making like nothing happened here, and then commits the foul.
We were also talking about Photoshop earlier. I found one of my favorite Photoshop photos that you made, Joe.
Which one? Oof. Have we ever told that story on the air before?
I'm not sure we have, but Aaron just got to look at it, and I think he's a little perplexed.
I don't think Aaron understands the context.
Yeah, he doesn't understand. I don't think we've told the story to him.
We're going to need some time, so let's wait until we have an extended stoppage as the Dolphins move forward into the attacking third here. And Atonga keeps his footing, wanted Lopez, but couldn't find him. And CSI is denied. Dominican now hoping for a chance to counter.
It's that final third decision-making, Joe. You get into a dangerous position where you can square the ball across the goal, and you got to try and find the feet of a teammate. Didn't get the luck on that occasion, but
yellow card's been issued as well.
The build-up is what you want to see.
Looks like Medito is down as well. So while we have a brief break, I'll very quickly fill you in, Aaron, on that Photoshop that Nick just showed and our audience on the story. Several years ago, we had a situation where the parking brake on our cart wasn't functioning correctly. This was known. I won't name names, but the cart was parked on the hill adjacent to the baseball clubhouse.
Okay.
With a faulty parking brake.
So I can see where this is.
This is on a hillside.
Yes.
Well, the cart rolled down the hill and through the wall of the clubhouse.
Oh, God.
Thankfully, it was only the foundational wall. It was not, one of the walls that are up higher and directly exposing the inside of the clubhouse. But the cart ended up essentially parked in the wall. So that Photoshop you were just looking at was a recreation of us accidentally crashing into the clubhouse with the cart. And I added the fire. I added all of this sprawled out, in the cart.
Yeah.
So we had good fun with that one. But those may or may not have been posted around the building.
It's good Photoshop work.
I had a lot of fun with that one, I have to admit. And if you looked very closely in the background, Nick is there, hands on his head.
Yeah.
Observing the damage. Well, Nick was actually Photoshopped in. I took a photo of him in that pose and dropped him in the background.
Specifically for this project. That's
Specifically
wonderful.
for that project. Dropped ball gets us restarted with just over 36 minutes to go. Here in the second half. Ball headed around in the midfield. Lopez quick turn. Immediately he's met. Gets it back to Paleo. Nearly gave it away in a dangerous position. But LaRose with the fancy footwork sends it up the pitch toward Alvarado. Alvarado to Villegas. Villegas with some room. And his pass for LaRose off the mark. LaRose looked to have been grabbed there. Keeps it on his foot. Now Arslan goes down and stays down. Ultimately, but he did draw a whistle and a foul, and the Dolphins will get a free kick here from a pretty dangerous spot. A lot of options from this area, and perhaps a chance to go in front with the first goal of the match.
This will almost certainly be a delivery into the box. Dolphins got to get their head on the other end of it. A couple big bodies in there to target. One of those being the striker Villegas. The other one being, of course, Peterson LaRose. So we'll see if the 6-footers can make their presence known on this set piece.
Looks like Arslan and Paleo lined up alongside the ball here. So it appears one of them will take this free kick. A wall of two set up right by the corner of the 18. That's sent over the wall and volleyed off the post. Hernandez couldn't get to it, and the Dolphins nearly put it past him. Instead, it is off the iron. The clock is stopped. And here is one more look. What a chance from in close. Ty Torres getting his foot on it. Almost netted a go-ahead goal.
I'm not sure if they were planning for it to go precisely that way, but if they were, it's very well executed. And Hernandez didn't get a touch to it, but he put his body in danger and closed down the angle. Can't get much closer than hitting the corner of the post like that. Ty Torres, inches away.
That's a big moment in this match. The Dolphins with arguably their best chance to go in front and get on the board, but they can't convert. And it goes back to my takeaway from that first half, the overarching theme, frustration. Both teams with many opportunities have yet to convert, and we remain scoreless. Aggressive attacking play here. Here come the Chargers. Tough shot angle and knocked over the touchline by CSI.
A really sudden burst of pace there from the Chargers. I believe that was Lorian Davies Carrera bursting through the back line. And we were close to an own goal there. Only a few feet away. Thankfully trickled wide.
I know a man who might say they were charging up the pitch, Nick.
Wasn't me.
But it was Nick.
It wasn't Nick.
Corner kick on the way. Center of the box, headed right back toward the corner taker. Still loose. Sent in the air and on goal as Schelling had to grab it. I certainly did not expect Schelling to be tested with that soft volley, but sure enough, it ends up just beneath the bar, and he had to keep it out. Each side now with 3 shots on goal. Lopez for Alvarado. Alvarado working toward the touchline and could not beat his marker there. Savano with a good defensive play, but Alvarado has it back. Alvarado into the midfield. Torres up toward Villegas and too strong. Goal kick, Dominican. As the Dolphins applied a bit of pressure there, couldn't turn it into a shot. We've seen a lot of that in this match so far.
The longer this match continues without a goal, the more likely it is that the first breakthrough is the only breakthrough. Seems like we're inching closer and closer to a potential 0-0 draw here at Dolphin Soccer Park.
I hate that word, draw. I do miss overtime, though we have places to be after this one. So on a day like today, I won't complain about it. As Schelling scoops that one up right on the edge of the box. But overall shots 9-7 favoring the Dolphins in this match. And to elaborate on the draw point, I think some of the most exciting calls that we've had here at the College of Staten Island doing soccer have come in overtime games, and I think it is a loss for us as broadcasters. But I understand the change and why the coaches voted to get rid of it. I think it makes it that much more special when you get there in the postseason, at the very least.
It's a very good point, Joe. I think what I'll add to that is having been through several collegiate seasons, you can see the wear and tear it has in the players. A lot of starters and very important guys on the squad will be kind of hanging from a thread health-wise by the end of the season. So taking away those extra minutes can be really helpful for keeping those guys just a bit more healthy by the time the end of October comes around.
And yet another odd bit of scheduling. This Saturday will mark our final home contest for men's or women's soccer until October 15th. So we are not on the air from Dolphin Soccer Park for 2.5 weeks following our doubleheader on Saturday. Dolphins working quickly up the sideline. Villegas kept it in. Looked across for Alvarado, but it's broken up, and the Dolphins will earn a corner.
This is good work from the home team, getting up the pitch, trying to create issues. Villegas doing so much work by himself, and we're reaching a point in the game where you just got to soldier on. You don't know when or if the goal will come, but you just have to put your head down and keep working in the hopes that it is there in your near future.
Corner kick, taken short. Not the first time the Dolphins have done that. Good move by LaRose. He crosses into the middle. It's loose and secured by Hernandez.
Hernandez had a look at the referee there. He wanted a foul on that call. And although I don't think the contact was necessarily worthy of it, it is similar to other calls the referee had made earlier in the game.
Throw in Staten Island here, inside of 29 minutes to play. Benvenuto up the sideline toward Lopez, and again the Chargers directed over the touchline for a Staten Island throw. Short throw, Benvenuto avoided that challenge from Davies Carrera. And a whistle will come in the midfield. Another Charger down. We've seen that several times already.
I personally thought that he got the ball in that challenge. I'd like to see a replay. Obviously, the ref is closer than I am, but initial reaction is surprise.
There you are, aspiring again. We'll run it back once we have another stoppage. Chargers with it, looking to work into the attacking third. LaRose with the takeaway. And he will send it up the pitch. Alvarado, looks like a good ball. Alvarado to it. He is being shadowed closely by Eggleston, and down goes Alvarado. Foul whistled against Eggleston.
Looks like we're getting another look at the foul. Hard to tell, really.
Well, I blocked your view of the screen, so that didn't help. It was a throw-in for the Dolphins. No foul whistled along the sideline here.
We'll show it again once we have another stoppage, and right on cue.
All right, I'll make sure I'm not in the way this time.
Here's a slow down view. Not a late tackle, and he did get the ball.
He did get the ball. I think maybe on the follow-through he rose that knee up a little bit too much for the officials' liking.
Fortunately for everyone involved, it was not a play of major consequence. We'll see if we get some plays of major consequence in the final 27 minutes or so of this match.
Well, there have been a lot of near misses that are going to be big plays as the Chargers, I have to admit, and I don't use the phrase loosely, but the way that they've gone down and sprung right back up, it almost seems like they've had some acting lessons. We've seen a lot of Chargers go down, grab the leg, look at the referee, not get the call, and spring right back. We've seen it 2 or 3 times now.
Some teams do like to flop more than others. It's a part of the game. And it's a big discussion, Joe, with a lot of points on both sides of the argument. Some say you don't want to fabricate contact, and I think that that is a fair comment. But the other side of it is a lot of times when players do get contact that is enough for a foul, but they don't go down, they don't get the call. And that is a problem as well. You need a referee who will make those foul calls even if the player doesn't embellish it.
Meanwhile, it's a corner for the Dolphins here. Corner kick on the way. Kept out by the Chargers. Couple of fists from the goalkeeper and several more bodies getting in there as that was redirected over to Hernandez off the head of Arslan. No danger there.
It was a good idea to try and flick that header over the top of the defense by Arslan, but none of his teammates were on the same page.
That ball sent toward the top of the box. Alvarado knocks it down. Gets some attackers to join him. LaRose now working toward the middle. His shot blocked. And that will roll toward the corner and stay in. Tonga came sprinting down and intercepted that ball before he was taken down. Another Chargers foul. And the Dolphins are awarded a free kick. A bit further out than the last one, but still a good spot. And they'll look to make something of this set piece.
The Chargers really testing the water here, giving up all these free kicks. It's just a free opportunity to put the ball into the box. As a coach, it must be frustrating because it's not necessary. These are not situations where a foul is needed. However, CSI unable to take advantage so far. We'll see if that changes now, but we'll have to wait because the referee stopped the clock.
Well, LaRose, to me, looked like he was petitioning for the official to move the wall back. And he will oblige. So LaRose gets himself some extra room. Sends one toward the box. Headed on goal and saved. Villegas straight into the arms of Hernandez on the header. But the Dolphins continue to generate chances. And that breakthrough they're looking for might be getting a bit closer.
Well, that was the best ball of the game so far. There's no doubt. A beautifully shaped in-swinging cross. But I think it actually went off the shoulder of Villegas, Joe. I don't think he got the contact he would have wanted. And that's why it was so tame for the goalkeeper, Hernandez.
Here's another look. If he got that with the shoulder, you have much better eyes than I do.
They're hard to see, especially in real time.
You've seen it from the other side in between the pipes. How many of those in game action?
A lot of free kicks swinging in like that. And they're difficult for goalkeepers to deal with because you just have bodies everywhere. So Hernandez, I should say, doing a good job to stay on his line there. He could have been caught out had he tried to cut that cross off.
We approach the midway point of half number 2. 22:45 to go from Dolphin Soccer Park. Still no score between Staten Island and Dominican.
And it's playing out more or less the way I thought it might, Joe, in that both these teams have quality and the ability to create chances, but just lacking that decisive composure in the crucial moment. Who can be cool, calm, and collected in front of goal and just place that ball in the corner? Nobody so far.
There have been plenty of opportunities for both sides. Several occasions where we thought certainly a goal would be scored. And yet, with just over 22 minutes to go, we are still looking for our first tally in this one. Alvarado plays it toward the near side. Nobody there. And it will roll over the touchline for a Chargers throw. And a foul called once again, that time on Torres.
It's a very classic striker's tactic to back in to the defender with the ball coming your way and then fall over.
So you're saying perhaps there was embellishment?
It's possible.
We're sounding awfully salty now between you and I as Benvenuto clears it.
Hey, listen, I have respect for using that as a tactic. If you know the referee's going to call it, why not do it, It's a feedback loop, if you will. What a touch. He hasn't had that large of an influence of the game, but when he is involved, it's very clear that number 22, Luan Savino, has quality on the pitch.
Here come the Chargers' chance to cross, and thought that ball might be put in the air. Instead, it's right onto the foot of Atanga and over the touchline, knocked away from him by Dominican. So a goal kick for CSI as we close in on 20 minutes to go. Here's a slow motion look. I think it caught him up in here, Aaron, between the shoulder and his head, like on the neck almost.
Yeah, that won't get you the power that you want to try and get it past the goalkeeper.
Here comes Dominican again, but Schelling decisively gets on top of that one on the attempted through ball. Well, the last time I had a ball hit me in the face, it was when I was practicing dunking many years ago in high school. I dunked it through the basket. It came straight through and hit me right in the bridge of the nose.
That's got to hurt.
Yeah, it was not pleasant, and I was very careful from that point forward not to try and dunk on a height. That was too much for me. We were working our way up, and I'd clearly bitten off more than I could chew.
Well, it's nice that you learned that lesson without having to pay a more severe price.
That's true. There was no blood, so that was nice. Ball into the midfield. Alvarado had it nearly taken away, but he swiped the leg at it and was able to at least keep it off the foot of Savino there. And the clock is stopped here for a foul in the midfield. A yellow card shown to Savino.
Yeah, he was holding his jersey on that one, so clear as day, that yellow card right there.
I will note a couple of words exchanged there between Savino and Brian Julio. So maybe a little bit of tension boiling as both teams are frustrated with their inability to finish.
It's a free kick to be taken by Ty Torres from the midfield. Clock stopped at 19:17 remaining here in the second half. Torres sends it a long way into the box, but nobody home for the Dolphins.
One thing to note about the flow of this game at the moment is that while both teams are very clearly looking for the breakthrough, nobody's intent on settling for a draw. But at the same time, there's no sense of urgency quite yet. Teams still are both very settled in the way that they are choosing to approach this game. Perhaps as we get a bit closer to the end, we might see the game open up a bit more.
You think perhaps that's a product of the chances the two sides have had? They know that what they're doing has generated them some chances, and the conversation is more just finish?
I think that's part of it. But even with that being the case, once you get to 5 minutes remaining, you start to get that little bit of feeling of like, okay, well, now we have to score. Now we can't just create good chances. We have to actually put it in the back of the net, and that can lead to some defenders leaving space in behind or perhaps a mental mistake or two.
Now, in terms of your philosophy, non-conference game, a draw doesn't really do anything for you in terms of standing. You know, it could come into play if you're seeking an at-large bid, but with the 1-3-1 start, that's something that certainly isn't on your mind yet and may not be. I think you're looking to win the conference for a bid, but without getting too far ahead of ourselves, are you playing to win this game and not draw, or late in the game, are you staying measured in your approach and satisfied with a draw?
It's a really good question, Joe. Personally, I think you go for the win. You want to prove that you're the better team on the day. You want to show what you're worth as a squad. I think the Dolphins have shown enough to prove that they are capable of winning this game, and they want the reward for that. They want something to show from their performance. So if I were them, I'd be going all out for that victory.
Well, Joe, it goes to a word that I usually like to use a lot when we have our broadcasts. It's all about momentum. And you get this win, you go right back into conference play. It really would help you if you get the victory here today.
And truth be told, when you're out there on the field and you're competing, all all thoughts of conference, non-conference, this and that kind of goes by the wayside, and your competitive spirit to just beat the other guys out there on the field with you takes over.
There's a strong challenge from behind, and Dolphins were hoping to get a call there.
They had a really good chance right there on that turnover.
I think it was number 12 for the Dolphins.
Hugo Suriat, who got taken down. And I believe on the challenge, it was Zachary Nadell.
That contact could have been a foul. I would love to see that again.
Crossed by Asensio Cueva, but the angle was just too sharp, and Aaron is moving in close on the monitor right here.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, I think they missed that one.
That's a tough call.
From that angle, and I think our angle would definitely make it appear as if there wasn't exactly a path to the ball. I didn't see it from this angle. From the other angle, maybe it was a better view. But we don't have an angle on the far sideline. So from our vantage point, you could run it back one more time, Nick. I didn't see how he had a path to the ball from where he came.
He did get the ball.
Yeah?
He did.
He got the foot in between the legs there and got to the ball?
I think so.
Because the ball looked to be on Suriat's left foot.
There's definitely contact from what I can see on both the ball and the body. If I had to guess what the referee was thinking, it's that if he calls a foul there, he has to pull out the red card because it's denial of an obvious goal-scoring opportunity.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And I don't think he wanted to do that on that play.
Yeah, I don't think that was a situation where you'd want to see a game decided by a red card. Certainly not. And again, Schelling forced to dive on top of an attempted through ball. Under 15 minutes to go in this one. Still no score.
Scoreboard all the same. 5 corners for each team, 3 shots on goal for each team.
The symmetry is kind of nice, I will say. Down the far side here, it's Arslan looking for the cross, and he runs into the body of the defender. I think it was number 5 there, Brecky Egilson, and referee not really concerned about that contact. He gives the corner kick.
Well, the Chargers thought for sure that it was going to be their goal kick. Instead, it is a corner coming up for the Dolphins, and you're getting to that point in the game now, final 15 minutes, where you need these opportunities to count. You don't know how many more you'll get in a short time like this, and the Dolphins are presented with a good opportunity here.
They've shown some danger on these set pieces, especially the most recent one that they had. Good delivery. Made it easy for Villegas to get on the other end. Just got to put it past the goalkeeper. Hernandez been standing on his head today.
He's been really good. Corner on the way. This one played into the box. Headed by Benvenuto. Headed again by a Charger. Volleyed in the air by another Dolphin. And finally it hits the turf. Torres plays one toward the touchline. Suriat overran it. And Nadell finally able to clear it away. But LaRose does come away with it out of heavy traffic and shoots high. LaRose barreling through traffic there. And you could see the vibration of the bleachers outside, shaking our camera a bit. The crowd invested in those moments, and LaRose a bit too strong on that last strike.
Well, they're hungry for a goal, Joe. If the Dolphins can find one before the end of the game, this crowd's going to go crazy. The women's team's still watching in the stands. Just chaos in that 18-yard box.
That ball headed in the air toward the sideline. Suriat closing in. That ball played into the midfield onto the foot of Benvenuto. Benvenuto keeps it. Looked for a passing lane and couldn't find it. And now the Chargers get moving on the attack. Tonga with a strong sliding challenge.
Too strong, though.
Whistled for a foul. He can't believe it. And don't you think, Aaron, that's a bit of a similar situation where if you call the foul there, it's probably a card of some kind because it looked like the attacker was ahead of him?
Yeah, based on the way that transpired, the referee must have deemed there enough contact. You would think, oh man, can we get a slower look, Nick?
Yep.
That looked like possibly a clean tackle.
It might have to wait, but we'll see. We have some time now as there is a substitution, so we could do it quickly.
But you're right, Joe. That could be a yellow card
He's
situation.
not as far ahead as I thought. I don't know if he ever touched the ball.
Yeah, you might be right there, Joe.
I think it was an attempt for a stronger touch to play it ahead to yourself, and the tackle then came in after as that one sent into the box and cleared away by the Dolphins. So nothing comes of the free kick, and Suriat now battling. Thought he was fouled again, doesn't get the call.
I don't get the sense the players are particularly pleased with the refereeing here, but I think he's done a fine job overall.
I think it's been consistent, and that's what you ask for.
Certainly hasn't made any outrageous decisions, that's for certain.
Yeah, I mean, considering my lack of in-depth knowledge of soccer,
Yellow card's about to be issued.
Yeah, that's shown to Atanga, I believe. But I try not to be critical when it comes to the soccer because I generally don't know the game well enough. But when you're to my right, Aaron, I can pose those questions, just look at you, and you'll tell me.
I love commenting on the refereeing. I think it's a big part of the game.
It's part of the game, and it's part of a complete broadcast, in my opinion. I don't think anybody is immune from our analysis. We don't call it criticism. We call it analysis.
Interesting exchange.
That makes it okay.
Yes, absolutely. Never set a foot wrong here on CSI Sportsnet. Never once.
That's right.
I do want to highlight, though, the referee had an interaction with the head coach there because the yellow card came from the Dominican player hitting it into Atanga, who was doing something you very often do after a free kick, which is stand in front of the ball to prevent the quick free kick from being taken. So an unusual transpiration there that results in a yellow card for Atanga.
Transpiration?
I think that was the right word.
We're just expanding our vocabulary further and further. Love to see it.
CSI Sportsnet, a great source if you're studying for the SAT.
What's the vocabulary book? Webster's? Am I right? Is that right?
Like the dictionary?
Well,
The dictionary?
Merriam-Webster's dictionary?
Yeah.
Where they've made yeet a word?
It's a pretty good vocabulary source, the dictionary.
Now, Joe, let's not get into wrestling. Come on. You know better.
It's my show now, Nick. Dave would definitely be no yeet.
Oh, yeah. Well, to be fair, you're also that way.
I am. Ball up the far side. Dolphins applying a bit of pressure here as we approach the final 10 minutes.
It's been a lull of energy in the last couple minutes or so with the ball bouncing around the midfield. It's a moment where maybe one team who wakes up first can really take control of the final stage.
Throw in for the Chargers into the center of the pitch with some room. Through ball. Looked to be on the money, but it got by. And the Dolphins have the takeaway. CSI with it now just beyond midfield. Bit of a tie up there. But the Dolphins do keep it. It's a Connie Allen working in the midfield. Down he goes, draws a foul.
My goodness. Connie Allen going to war for possession there. Just throwing his body all over the place.
He went from 1-on-1 to 2-on-1. He was battling through a bunch of bodies right there on that in the middle of the pitch.
That Dolphin possession doesn't last very long as that was sent beyond everybody and over the touchline. Just over 9 minutes to go. The Chargers working into the midfield now up the near side. That ball played ahead. Guaman trying to shadow Asensio Cueva, perhaps force him to concede a corner, but at least does a good job to clear it. Cimini had that attempted pass taken by Zucchello. And there's a shot on target, but easily saved by Schelling. Not enough air on it.
Schelling hasn't had to make a save in quite some time. That one wasn't the most challenging, but it's nice to get him some action, keep him alert.
That's our first shot on goal in a long while. It has been quite some time.
And we no longer have that symmetry on the scoreboard. What a shame.
We do here in the venue. We won't. We won't for long. I trust the crew. Tyler put the man down, though. He was the man in charge, I think. Here come the Chargers the other way, but the pass attempt blocked. And now the Dolphins moving forward. Lopez for Alvarado. Alvarado working toward the touchline. Looks to cross. Nobody home on the receiving end.
Well, I think we're getting a little bit of that opening up that I predicted just about 10 minutes ago. Both teams now recognizing that they're running out of time to take that lead.
I think I speak for many, if not all. When it comes to non-conference play, nobody likes a draw. Nobody wants a draw.
There are very few scenarios where it makes sense to settle like that in a non-conference game. And I don't think this is one of those.
I think when you have a chance late, go all out for the non-conference victory. I think what it does for your team is worth the risk. No flag up here as the Chargers once again move in. And we're going to have a penalty. And I don't know how the Dolphins could argue that. I really don't. It looked like on that move, Atonga gave a bit of a hook and pulled the attacker down. We'll get a look at it on replay.
Flat on his feet.
It's clear as day.
Yeah, I think that's McFarland, the attacker.
That's what they call a stonewall penalty.
It was either McFarland or Odomene. Couldn't tell if it was a 2-9 or a 1-9. I think it's Odomene who made that move up the pitch and into the 18. Was taken down by Atonga. And now it rests on the shoulders of Lucas Schelling to keep this game scoreless. The Chargers looking for what could go down as a game-winning goal on the PK. Here we go. Hesitation, shot, and it just beat Schelling. Henrique Zachello tucks one inside of the post just beneath Schelling. And that is a big one as it puts the Chargers in front 1-0 with just 6:47 remaining.
Goalkeeper dove the right way, but the ball was just placed too perfectly into that bottom left corner. And now all of a sudden, the Dolphins have much more pressure on their shoulders in the remaining 6 minutes and 47 seconds of this game. Got to see if you can fight for an equalizer here. It's going to be an interesting end. One more thing I'll say is I believe, if I saw the jersey number correctly, the player that drew the penalty was actually number 28, Raheem Taylor.
Okay. Well, I was wrong twice.
Happens to the best of us.
Yeah, I thought that final digit was 9. It was an 8.
And if the Dolphins come away with this with nothing, they're going to be ruining that result. They no doubt feel like they could have drawn or even won this game had a couple chances gone differently. Still time to make up for it.
Yeah, I think what really hurts is not that you could go on to lose this game, as that's a really aggressive foul. Good sportsmanship there.
It's going to be another yellow card, though.
Yeah, that's the right call.
Yeah.
The Dolphins using their hands a bit too much defensively these last couple of minutes, and I don't know how they could protest the penalty. I think it was pretty clear on the replay. But as I was saying, if you're the Dolphins and you go on to lose this game as a result of a chance generated by the attack of this Chargers squad, I think you can live with that. To lose this game on a penalty kick that you conceded and probably didn't need to, I think that really hurts.
I think you're spot on with that analysis.
I think if there is a positive takeaway from this, it's that it's not a conference game. And you can go back and look at the film and figure out what needs to change ahead of a big meeting with Malloy on Saturday. Because if you fall to 0-2 in conference play, it really puts you in a tough spot. And then already you have two teams that own a tiebreaker over you, especially if it's a couple of teams who may already have a win in conference play. Alvarado, quick give and go with Surriat. Down goes Alvarado. Clock stopped again. How many times have we said that?
Well, another slide tackle that was borderline. Yellow card issued for the defender there. It was the Iceland international, Breki Egilson. And just outside of the box. That was dangerously close to being just in the corner of the 18-yard box. It's another opportunity to whip it across for the Dolphins. It's not exactly now or never territory, but just about on the border of that.
Time very quickly running out on CSI. They have a free kick in a dangerous spot with 5:35 to go.
He's going to zip this in with pace, Joe.
A lot of Dolphins lined up with that back post as well. See if they come in a bit as that sent toward goal. Looked to be on target, and I think it was shouldered out of play by the Chargers. So the Dolphins will get another chance via a corner kick. They've stopped the clock for substitutions here.
I don't know if that clock ticked down during that.
It did not, and now it's running here. So they run off the 4 seconds and then stop it again. Corner kick punched away by Hernandez, but the Dolphins track it down. Benvenuto plays it into heavy traffic, cleared away again by Dominican, and now the Chargers have a big chance, but Asensio Cueva denies the through ball, plays it back to Schelling. He's under pressure and gets it away. Dolphins may have a chance here if this takes a good bounce. There's a collision and a player down.
That looked awfully painful, Joe.
Yeah, it looked like there was a head to the face. I think they bumped heads there, and I think it was crown into a cheekbone, and those can leave you cut up pretty good if you take it from the wrong angle. So hopefully that's not the case. Clock stopped again with 4:59 to go. All looks to be good down on the pitch. No blood. It's always good to see. I think that's Eggleston who's down.
I'll tell you what, Joe. They raised him tough at Fieldbrow to Skolin.
Looks like Eggleston's going to head off for now. See if he gets back in with under 5 minutes to play.
Several nationalities represented on this Dominican University roster. Included is, of course, Iceland, as we mentioned. They also have players from Brazil, France. They have a player from New Zealand, from Spain, England, all over. Bahamas, as we mentioned. No one from the Dominican Republic.
We've seen that quite a bit. Big international presence on many of these rosters. The Dolphins no stranger to that, especially having visited American International. As that's in a dangerous spot, but Cimini couldn't get to it. Swung his foot at it, but just couldn't make contact.
Perhaps the most ironic part of this is that, if I'm reading this correctly, CSI does have a player from the Dominican Republic. And that would be goalkeeper Carlos Romero Estacio from Santo Domingo.
Once the Dolphins went Division II, the international presence across all sports grew. Typical of the move from D3 to D2. And it's very easily lost, especially with the suspension of play for COVID, but Dolphins are still in their infancy in Division II. It's still very early.
No doubt about it, and that definitely plays an influential role in the way that these squads are being built. They haven't yet been able to secure a winning season as a Division II squad. Their last winning season was in 2019 when they went 10-5-1. And I believe they didn't have a conference in that year. I couldn't tell by looking at the schedule, Joe. I'm not sure if you remember.
In 2019, officially, the Dolphins were still a part of the CUNYAC. Their games counted in the conference standings for the other schools, but did not count for the Dolphins as they could not qualify for the Division III postseason. This is Alvarado. That one headed twice in the box, and again, Hernandez is there.
So, yes, with that unique circumstance, they were 10-5-1 in 2019. And since that season, they are 14-45-10.
It's tough when you go from a Division III program that was always in the conference championship conversation to building yourself up from the bottom in Division II. And this Dolphins team has qualified for the playoffs on the men's side. They've done some good things, but I think if you look at the record, especially last year, given where they were the year before, as the Chargers are flagged for offsides.
That's a yellow card, Joe. Can't kick the ball away like that.
And the card coming out slowly, but there it is. When you look at where this team was 2 years ago and where they ended up last year, I think that is something that is disappointing. I think the rest of it generally can be understood as, as I said, a Division II program in its infancy. But to take the step back from 2 years ago to where they were last year, I think for this program, that is where the level of concern raises just a bit.
And I think it's important to note that continuity is hard to come by in this environment. Just because you have a strong season with good players in 1 year doesn't mean it'll look similar the next year. It's really hard to predict what will happen between 2 seasons of college ball. And I think we've seen that play out here for the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins, with the clock still winding down inside of 2 minutes, are going to have a free kick here. Bit surprised they didn't stop it for the foul.
I was just about to say that exact thing. And now the referee does give the signal. I think he's going to ask for some time to be put back on the clock.
Did they signal it prior?
They're putting it back on.
To be honest, Joe, I think the referee can ask for whatever time he wants.
He can. I'm just curious if they had asked for it to be stopped before. Because typically they're right on top of it. We don't miss those signals up here.
Right.
Rose lining up to take the free kick, certainly capable of putting one on goal from here. And his strike is a good one. It's saved. Hernandez there again to deny the Dolphins in a huge spot as LaRose put a good shot on goal. Hernandez makes the save, full extension. Corner, in traffic. Alvarado puts it in again! Wolfgang Alvarado with his third match-tying goal in the last 2 weeks. We are all even at 1 with 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining.
Well, guys, I did it again. I was trying to play a replay of the LaRose shot. I got it just in time, though. We did get the goal on the screen, but you can see the vibration from the seats. They are elated after that goal to tie this game.
They better not take our camera down out there. I'll have to build them.
Yeah.
Who's up there in that top row? Who's doing that?
Maybe some disciplinary action. But
no room for that here. What are we doing? No room.
This is a civil stadium. Anyway, what a sequence for the Dolphins there. I mean, the free kick was quality enough. And then the urgency to take the quick corner. I don't think Dominican was ready to defend it quite in time. And wow, what a relief off the shoulders of this team to actually get that goal in the back of the net.
All right, play resumes once again with 1:40 to go. We are all level at 1. Wolfgang Alvarado, for the third time in CSI's last 4 matches, has netted an equalizing goal.
I had to cut myself off with my analysis, Joe, because I saw the referees talking, and I thought to myself, well, we've seen crazier things happen. We talked about it earlier today, but yes, a huge, huge goal for CSI. Maybe not in terms of playoffs or conference or anything like that, but I think they really needed that to go in order to gain some momentum as this season gets more and more serious.
There's still some time. There's a good, strong tackle to keep that one off the foot of Cimini. Chance here for Dominican to counter.
Oh, yeah, this is going to be an action-packed final 60 seconds, Joe.
And Cimini got a foot on it. And a foul is whistled. The clock has not been stopped, and now it is. Yellow card shown. Now, tough to tell from in here. Has it rained outside during this match at all?
Not that I could tell.
Because
I think
our window is
it's
angled
the fog
inward.
from the AC.
It is. Okay. It was hard to tell if those kits are wet from perspiration or if there was a bit more to it than that.
The Dolphins players are angry right now, Joe, because despite the foul call going the way of the Chargers, it seemed more as though the number 31 for the Chargers, Nikolai, fell and his legs took down LaRose. So I think the Dolphins players wanted it to go the other way.
That free kick bends all the way toward the far side and propels the Dolphins forward on the attack. A lot of contact there. Play continues. It's cleared over the sideline. We're inside of 30 seconds to go. Long throw. Bounces toward the box and a bit too much on that throw as we approach the final 20 seconds. Clock was stopped for about 12 seconds. Yeah, we've had a bit of a clock transmission issue in the venue, but the officials are on top of it as time runs out from Dolphin Soccer Park. We have gone final. College of Staten Island and Dominican University of New York play what was a very entertaining, back-and-forth, evenly matched game, and we get the draw. Something we said that nobody likes. However, we'll make an exception today. That was a good one. 1-1 between the Dolphins and the Chargers, our final. Aaron, final thoughts.
I think the Dolphins are just happy to come away with a point after all of the events of that match. The vibes quickly shifting from one of almost disappointment that they hadn't scored the goal for the majority of the match to one of definite despair following the penalty kick, and then the relief of getting the breakthrough that I think many fans thought might never come.
Well, the Dolphins capitalize in the closing moments, putting the pressure on and finally converting on one of their chances from in close. We've seen that many times throughout the day. Teams with opportunities from in the 18, near goal, the Dolphins convert off the foot of Wolfgang Alvarado, netting the equalizer with just 1:40 to go, and they settle for a 1-1 draw against Dominican University of New York. We are back on the air here at Dolphin Soccer Park on Saturday. It is once again a split conference and non-conference doubleheader. The women will take on Goldie Beacom College, and the men will face Malloy. Tune in on Saturday afternoon right back here on Flow College, the new home of CSI Sportsnet. But until next time, thanks for watching. This has been Joe Foreman alongside Aaron Cohen and Nicholas Bavona. Once again, our final score, the Dolphins and Chargers play to a 1-1 draw.